I do remember that it was in the mid-50s, and it was a fundraiser. The club was looking for money, so they were offering, this is when I was a junior, of course. I remember that when I became a regular shareholder member myself, but I was a junior through the 50s and early 60s. And my own membership was 1965. So I think it was 58, we had a curling team here. And that's where I met some of my pals that are still pals of mine today. And that was like Rick Lyle and Quincy Smith. And my father was the skip, I was the third, and they also ran on the rest of the team. Well, my father was a member before me, and my mother, and who passed away quite young, but they were the original ones of our family to join. And we lived in Scarborough, so most of the people who were in the club at that time lived in Elbow Park and Mount Royal. So it was a bit of a challenge to get here as a youngster to ride your bike over from Scarborough or whatever. So that was a bit of a challenge. Oh yeah, I played all the racket sports in league play all through until I had to have my knees replaced. But so I played badminton on the ladder and tennis and squash. But I've had a couple of injuries here, like I'm one of those guys that bizarre ones. I hurt myself quite seriously curling, of all things. I came out of the hack and blew my knee out and severed the medial ligament. Had to have it pop back into place down on the ice on my back, and then surgery afterwards to repair the ligament. And my wife was about 9.5 months pregnant at the time, so it was a bit trying. I think people who play badminton should be as cognizant of their eyes as the people who play all these other sports, especially, you wear goggles playing squash. Well, badminton, a lot of people just think that's no problem, you're never going to get hit in the eye. I got hit in the eye. On my right eye, it hit right directly on the eye. It didn't hit any of the surface area around it. It went black. It was gone. It was dead. And fortunately, before the staff here were really rushing around trying to help out, there wasn't a lot of pain associated with it. It just went blank. But they were rushing around, and one of the staff had a T-shirt with his name badge on it, and he quickly put it on there and stuck the name badge into my face. So, but I said, before you do anything else, just page Dr. Kirker and Dr. Culver, because I think they're in the club, and they both were. And Merv Kirker came down and said, nope, we got to get him to the Foothills Hospital. They were going to take me to the Rocky View. He said, take him to the Foothills. And up I went, and he came up, and I already had the forms from an insurance company that the eye was gone, I was going to lose it. He said, you're not going to lose it. Kept me in there for 3 weeks and saved my eye. My earliest memories were the badminton facility at that time was like a barn. It was a big dark room with badminton nets, and it wasn't much of a place to play badminton. And the coffee shop, of course, was the end of the curling rink, where they had bar stools and you could get a quick snack. Exactly. And lockers weren't much. There wasn't any daycare, I recall, at that time. And the gal at the front desk who knew every single soul that came through the door, Ethel, she'd pick off the ones that she knew weren't members and boot them out the side door in a hurry. Still see Quincy and still see Rick on a regular basis. He has a place in Arizona as well. And and lots of people that joined after us that are friends of ours, like the Kirkers and the Rick Anderson and all these people. Well, I know, I've kind of gone inactive a bit because we're spending our winters in Arizona, have been up till now. We're going to go down and sell our home this fall. And so we were down there for the winter, wasn't much to do. But I think what we'll do now is get back into the fitness more than anything else. Well, I kind of admired Dave Follansbee. He was quite well known at that time. And I suppose that's about the best one I can remember. There weren't, I wouldn't call them heroes, but they were good athletes. Well, I remember the big old furniture in the kind of a lounge area that he had, and that goes back quite a ways. That's, I think, Aiken. I think he was the general manager at the time. And so that was big old stuffy furniture. It was kind of a stuffy club in those days, you know. I think that's why they had to raise money to get more people involved. Most of them were in the bar after the tennis and after the solving all the world's problems, and then ending up over at 4th Street at the bar over there to finish off the evening. But there was lots of laughs in here too. I had high points for me were both my daughter's wedding receptions were here. They're 10 years apart. They're 10 years apart in age, and the weddings were 10 years apart. No, I tell you one funny thing that happened with us. We were here for New Year's just a couple of years ago. Dennis Hart is a very good friend of mine as well, and he's a long-term member here. So we decided, well, since we weren't going to be away down at South or anywhere else, and we usually go up and had New Year's up in the Windermere Valley, that let's go to the Glencoe. So the worst winter you ever had in Calgary. So we came down, and there was only 2 other couples, and they put us all in the dining room and rather than in here, because there was only a few people involved. And we actually thought we were going to end up sleeping here. It got so darn cold. Oh, God, it was brutal. And the other couples all left, and so suddenly there's 4 of us in the room having a Happy New Year. Well, I thought it was old people. You know, there wasn't many kids. And so we weren't too interested at first. You know, I wasn't. My dad was certainly into it, and my mother was curling, and my dad was doing things, but nah, this is old folks stuff. We're not going to get too involved here. Now it's exactly the opposite. The old folks are put out to pasture, and all the young people have taken over. There's more focus on daycare than there is anything else. We were all very aware of it because everybody had things in lockers and so on that they knew they were going to lose. And we couldn't get too close to it. I think we were up on the ridge watching it, actually.
So you were
in the vicinity, yeah. Yeah, we still lived in Scarborough, of course, but we came over to see what was going on. And it was quite a blaze. And I think there was only, they found curling stones and a few things, but they didn't find much else. It means you belong to the best club in Canada, you know, bar none. I've seen all the others. I've seen the Granite Club and the associated clubs, and I think this is by far the most attractive for sure. If you've got kids that are coming of age, make sure they join the Glencoe Club, because if they don't, they'll regret it. They really will.